Today, we're going to do a little kissing. The kissing technique is a really fun way to create some unique backgrounds for cards. We're going to create 2 cards today featuring the brand new Kiss of Texture stamp set. Hello and welcome everyone. I'm Connie Stewart with simplysimplestamping.com. Thank you guys so much for stopping by for another Tuesday tip video. Today, like I said, we're going to do a little kissing technique featuring this brand new stamp set from Stampin' Up. And friends, this technique can be done with so many stamps. Oh my goodness. You have so many stamps in your arsenal. You're going to find some ways to create with the kissing technique. So let's jump in and get started. All right, we are going to start with a wishing you a happy day, wishing you a lifetime of love. So we've got all those summer weddings coming up. Let's have a few cards set and ready to go. I always love to provide you a free download that goes along with every one of my videos. So friends, no need to write down any measurements. You're going to have them all right here. You'll have photos of the cards. Of course, there's the measurements, my supply list. There's a QR code here you can scan or click. It'll take you right back here to the video in case you need a little refresher. And friends, if you're in the United States, I have a supply list designed just for you. This is where you can order any of the items I used in today's video. You'll click this graphic or you can just follow this link right here. It'll take you to my online store and you can order there. Friends, thank you so much for your support of the channel through your orders. With that, let's jump in with the supplies we need for our first card. You don't need a lot because we're going to do some stamping on our card base to give it some really great texture. So I'm going to be using boho blue, and this is 8.5 by 5.5 scored at 4 1/4. I have 3 pieces of basic white. These 2 are the same. These are 3 3/4 by 5. And then I have a piece here that's a 2 1/4 by 2 1/4. We're going to be doing some chopping on that. So if you have a scrap, feel free to do that as well. All right, we are going to start with our boho blue cardstock and a boho blue ink pad. Now I'm going to start creating, and I'm going to use this glorious, glorious floral image that comes in our set. Now I'm going to be doing a lot of stamping off. So you want to have some grid paper underneath you. So we'll just start up here at the top. And honestly, friends, we're going to go all across. This will be the front and the back of our card, but I thought, why not let the back be a little pretty too, right? So we're going to fill in with our floral image. All right, so that's going to be the front and the back. Now let's do a little stamping here. This will be on the left side of the card. We're going to repeat this, but let me show you what I'm going to do. I'm going to fold this back because I don't want to spill over. You can if you want. All right, it's your card. I want you to get creative, but I'm just going to add my floral image just so the inside of my card has something pretty as well. All right, so there you go, front, back, and on the inside. I'm going to clean that stamp because now we're going to be using it in pretty in pink. In fact, if you'll stick around to the end of the video, I've got a great Tuesday tip for you for when you accidentally ink your wrong color in the wrong ink pad. Guess what? I did that on my reel today. So I'm going to teach you how to fix that little boo-boo. All right, let's bring in this square image. And again, we're going to use our little flower. I'm going to bring in 1 piece of that 3 3/4 by 5. We're going to ink up our stamp in the pretty in pink. And I'm going to stamp off twice, all right, because I want this to be a really pale pink. Now let's do our kissing technique. So I'm going to ink up my floral stamp. I'm going to lay it right on top. I'm going to give it a press. Now, right now, you can't really see anything, but watch what's going to happen when I stamp this on my cardstock. All right, give that a good press. Let that ink kind of soak in. Look at that. Gorgeous, right? Let's repeat that. So I'll ink this up again. No need to clean it because we're using the same color. So 1, 2, we will ink up our floral stamp, stamp it firmly on the square. We're going to stamp this right underneath. It just has amazing texture. All right, now I'm going to bring in an early espresso ink pad. I'm going to give my stamp a quick clean. I'm going to ink that in early espresso, and now I'm going to turn it as a diamond shape, and I'm going to line it up with my two images here. This is really fun because it looks like we've laid down a piece of cardstock, but we haven't. We're going to let this great stamp do the work. Now, while I have my early espresso out, we're going to go ahead and do our sentiments, but I want you to notice there are no sentiments in the Kiss of Texture stamp set. So I'm going to bring in Linked Together. It was great for the two cards I'm going to create today. So down here at the bottom, I'm going to stamp a happy day. I start with that because now we're going to stamp wishing you, but I like to go ahead and get that bigger sentiment down first. Now I can add wishing you right on top. All right, let's set this off to the side, and we're going to bring in that little 2 1/8 by 2 1/8, or 2 1/4. Forgive me, I think it was 2 1/4 by 2 1/4. And we're going to take our floral image in early espresso. We're going to stamp that. Now we're going to do a little coloring with some Stampin' Blends. So I've got the Pretty in Pink. I have a light boho blue and a light granny apple green. So I'm going to start with the dark of my Pretty in Pink. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of color in the center of the flowers, and then see all these great little veins of the flower. I'm just going to give them a quick trace. And if you don't hit all of them, that's fine. This is just going to help give us some really great texture on our flower. Now we'll come in with the light, and we're just going to blend these colors together. So when the light hits that dark, you're going to see the alcohol is just going to cause these colors to just blend together. So pretty. So I'm going to get both of the flowers colored. All right, we'll come in with our boho blue light, and we're just going to add a little boho blue to these little, I don't know, I guess maybe they're little berries of some kind, but the boho blue just blended really nicely with my cardstock. And now I've got the light granny apple green, and we're simply just going to color in our leaves. I'm now going to come in with my remaining piece of that 3 3/4 by 5, and I'm going to stamp another flower. And this is just going to go down here in the corner just a little bit. I don't necessarily need it all, but just a bit right there. I'll color that here in just 1 minute. I'm going to take my Pretty in Pink, and I'm going to stamp A Lifetime of Love. And of course, wishing you, because this is going to make a great wedding card to use this season. Well, since we already have the inside of our card stamped, colored, ready to go, I'll go ahead and add that to the inside. Again, I just love having my cardstock stamped. And now we are going to work with our little stamped piece that we created. I'm going to bring in my paper trimmer, and I'm going to start to just kind of trim this down. I'm going to trim just little bits. I eventually want this to be 1.5 inches. So we'll cut a little bit there. I'm going to have to trim a little bit more, and that's fine. I just kind of like to cut it down, kind of get it going there. All right, so I can cut a little more off of this end. Again, we are shooting for 1.5 inches. I've added about 5 Stampin' Dimensionals. We will add that right inside our little early espresso. That's what I said. It kind of looks like I've got a layer of cardstock, but I don't. Now I wanted to dress this up a little bit more. So I'm coming in with the iridescent faceted gems. Gosh, you guys, these are gorgeous. I hope that you have these. They're beautiful. They're sparkly. I'm going to start with one of the small ones there in the middle, and I'm just going to work my way out. I'm going to add 5 total. And there you go. It just adds a really great sparkle. We've got a lot going on this card, and we just let that kissing technique really be the star of this card. All right, would you like to see another one? Before I jump into the next card, just a quick reminder that free download is waiting for you. So you'll have the measurements, the supply list, photos, everything that you need. So when you're ready to recreate the card, you'll have this download. Friends, you'll find this at simplysimplestamping.com, or if you look down in the YouTube description, I've got a direct link to today's post. This card is everything. It's bright, it's cheery, it says wishing you the best, so happy for you. I am excited to create with some bright spring colors. Let's talk about the cardstock we need. I have a piece of lemon lime twist, 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. I've got a few pieces of basic white. I have a 4 by 5 1/4, that's for the inside of the card. I have a 2.5 by 4. This really is just some scrap, but it's about 2 1/4 by 1. And this is for my little greeting here. This is a 1/2 inch by 2.5 inches. The last thing is a little pop of color, and Petunia Pop definitely does that. This is 2 3/4 by 4 1/4. All right, I'm going to bring in a lemon lime twist ink pad. And friends, we're going to do that same technique where we stamped on the front and on the inside. Now this one, I thought, let's change it up. I'm only going to stamp on the front and the inside. I won't worry about the back on this one. I'm going to bring that grid paper back in because we could stamp off the card. So for this one, I'm going to start right in the middle. All right, that way I can kind of work my way out. I'm going to come up at the top. I'll stamp again and down at the bottom. All right, so we have those. Now we're going to fill in here on the sides. So to do that, you will just line that up right there on the side. And you are going to have to get that top and bottom just a little bit. All right, so we'll go there and a little bit here. All right, we're going to repeat that now on that other side. And then, guys, we're going to do all of that again on the inside. Remember on the inside to just fold your card over so you can stamp off, but keep the other side of your card nice and clean. All right, there we go. Inside and outside. All right, since we have the stamp already inked up in some lemon lime twist, we're going to go ahead and work on our kissing technique and on the inside of our card. So for the inside of the card, I'm going to ink this up and I'm going to stamp off once because I want this to be a really nice light image. We'll stamp it there. Now we're going to come in with that little scrap. This was the, about a 2.5 by 1 inch. And this is where we're going to get into our kissing technique. So we're going to take this really great little flag image. I'm going to ink it up. I'm going to take this stamp. I'm not going to ink it or anything. And even though it still has some ink on it from before, that's fine. I'm going to stamp the kissing. I'm going to kiss that stamp right here. And now I'll stamp that in my little scrap. So cute, right? Do you love that kissing technique? It's such a great way to give backgrounds. And because we have 3 different choices in this stamp set, plus you can bring in any of your other stamp sets, but it's these great images here that are going to help you get started. You use your favorite stamp, but Stampin' Up's going to give you 3 of them right there. I'm going to come in with some Petunia Pop. Let's add a little fun color. So on our flag, I'm going to stamp here in the middle, the best. And then on that little 1/2 inch, we will say, wishing you. And our last one is here for the inside. So happy for you. I have inked up my stamp in the Petunia Pop. I'm going to stamp that right here on my 2.5 by 4. Let's bring in 2 circle punches. So I have the 1 3/4 and the 2 inch. And I'm going to start here with this one. Now I'm going to punch kind of right in the middle. So you do want to try to center that up. So that's my 1 3/4. Now I'm going to use that Petunia Pop. And again, right in the middle, I'm going to punch out a 2 inch circle punch. All right. I'm going to take these and I'm going to adhere it together with that stamp side down. They don't have to be perfectly straight. We're going to cover it up. We'll add that to our petunia pop. I'm going to bring in my card base. We'll adhere that down right in the middle. We're going to cover that with our petunia pop circle. You'll kind of center that all around. We're going to add some Stampin' Dimensionals to our cute little stamped image. Little adhesive across the front of our wishing you sentiment. We'll go right across that. You see that's going to hit the edges of our basic white cardstock. Now let's work on this little flag. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a little fussy cutting, and I'm going to cut straight across. I want to leave myself just a little bit of a white border. So we'll give that a cut. Now I can just come in and kind of fussy cut out the flag. A couple Stampin' Dimensionals there on the back. We'll add that here. Now, again, we've got to dress this up. So let's bring in those faceted gems again. This time I'm going to use the large ones. And I'm going to start with one right in the center of my flag. And then I'm going to do one on each side. Let's add a little bow up at the top. So I've tied myself a bow in Petunia Pop. This is the Petunia Pop bordered ribbon. Look at what a difference that little bit of ribbon makes. So cute. Of course, we better add the inside. We got to have a great place to write our message. And that is definitely it. All right, fun card. And there you go, my friends. I hope that you like these and this idea of the kissing technique. Like I said, you could use any of your stamps on those 3 solid images that come in the Kiss of Texture stamp set. Of course, Stampin' Up! Gives you 3 ideas, but you have so much more because any of your thin line stamps are going to work perfect. Now, I promised you a Tuesday tip, so let me share with you how to do a little repair job when you accidentally stamp in the wrong color in one of your lighter color ink pads. You may notice I tend to close up my ink pads while I work, specifically to keep this from not happening. But let's say we inked up in early espresso. You know, you've stamped your image, but you know what? There's still ink on there. And what do? That. We've all been there, and your heart just sinks. Well, let me teach you how you're going to repair that. First things first, we're not going to cry, all right? So I've got a paper towel, and the first thing I want to do is do my best to try to blot up the wrong color, all right? I don't have to get this all over, but I do want to try to just blot that out. You might not be able to get it all, but don't worry. We're going to get it enough that your ink pad is not ruined forever. All right. Just keep blotting. And you see, I'm removing a lot of this ink. And of course, this is where your Stampin' refills are going to come in so handy. Well, one, I'm just a huge believer in having a refill for every one of my colors, because just like anything, we start to use that ink. We don't want to have a dull ink pad. It makes for dull stamped images. All right, so I always verify, by the way, lemon lime twist, lemon lime twist. I don't want to accidentally pick up granny apple green. All right, so I'm going to squeeze that ink. Now, I really blotted from the middle, but this is a good opportunity. I need to re-ink my ink pad anyway. So you can see I'm just going to run my ink back and forth, back and forth. But again, I know I did a lot of blotting there in the center, so I'm going to add a little extra there. All right. And this little ink refill will just last you well, I can't say forever. It's going to last you a long, long time. So just a reminder, when you're using an ink refill, you don't need an entire bottle on an ink pad. All right. I've got a plastic spoon. This stays in my stamp room all the time. I've had it forever. And I'm just going to, almost like you're frosting a cake. All right. I'm not pressing really hard. I'm just kind of giving it just like you were petting a kitty. All right. We're just going to kind of move all that ink around. Let's do a little test. I've made sure my stamp is clean. I will ink that up. Let's make sure our colors are looking good and they're not muddy. Looks great. Friends, it happens to all of us, but I hope today's Tuesday tip is helpful in when you make those little boo-boos. Thank you, friends, so much for joining me for today's video. I hope that you enjoyed that kissing technique. If you did, do me a favor. There's a thumbs up button on YouTube. If you would click that, you just make my day. And YouTube loves it too because it lets them know what you like to see, and they'll be sending you more videos like this. And if you liked this video and you want to see more from Simply Simple Stamping, why not subscribe? If you click that subscribe button and then ring the bell, YouTube will send you a notification whenever I'm back. And friends, I share twice a week on the channel. I'd love to have you join in. That's all for me, everybody. I hope you have a fantastic day. Go stamp something amazing. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.